Good morning, Nick Wusz. Welcome to I Hate Music.
Wow, it's great to be here again.
Yeah.
Seeing your smiley face and our matching bald heads. It's amazing.
I thought you were going to say something else. Our matching bald heads. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're drinking a Waterloo. I am drinking a Forest Water. Is
that the same one you were drinking last time? You said you didn't like it. It was funky. But
yeah, this is a different flavor. This is Meadow. It's floral and refreshing.
Oh, I might try that shit. That looks cool.
It's from...
Some of those are like $2 a can. It's crazy.
I know. Oh,
this one's cherry limeade.
That's one of the better ones, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of that. It's my favorite at the moment. I bought it to like a fucking 2 12-packs of that shit.
We should do a whole episode on fizzy water.
Well, we've already done 2 minutes worth. That's easy. We can keep going about this.
Or, hear me out, a whole podcast on fizzy water.
Oh, shit. Fizzy water reviews.
Yeah, I hate water.
There you go. Some people do. I argue with Sarah about this all the time. She thinks that drinking these is the equivalent of water, and I don't know if what the science says about that. But I have a belief that it's not the same. Like you really need to drink normal water.
I don't think it's the same, but I do think it's better than a lot of other stuff you could be drinking.
Sure, better than soda. But
you should still be drinking actual water.
I think you should probably do as much water drinking as possible. I agree with that.
Yeah, got to keep hydrated. You don't want to get dehydrated.
Hell no, not in this day and age.
Not in this day and age. Nick, I wanted to talk to you about something since I've got you here.
Yeah.
We have this thing called Patreon.
Oh, you fucking...
Patreon.com/I Hate Music Podcast. Give us money. Okay, that's it.
Thanks.
This is I Hate Music. Part of the Distorted Past Podcast Network, brought to you by Earth and Sound. This is episode 113. Today we're going to talk about a little band called Victims of Internal Decay.
That's right.
Yes.
Some OG Oregon death metal.
Yes, for sure. Nick, you know way more about this band than I do. Can you explain what this band is, your history with the band?
Let me set this up a little bit. Yeah. 1994, I moved to Oregon, and obviously I was pretty into death metal at the time and all kinds of different heavy music. Learned very quickly about the local bands that were happening in the scene. Victims of Internal Decay was one of them, actually from Albany, not maybe an hour away or something, south. Near Salem. Other bands that were popular around here were called Savior.
I've heard of them, yeah.
And Body Bag.
Yep, I remember them.
And most shows you'd go to, there'd be a combination of these bands opening for whatever it is, Morbid Angel or Immolation or Incantation, or anytime one of these bands came through, Body Bag, Savior, or Victims would open. So I had seen Victims probably pretty soon after arriving here. I forget what show it was or anything, but one day at Tower Records, where I was employed at the time, a very distinctive man, because he only has one leg, and he came up to the register and was I think he was commenting on my shirt, and he was buying some death metal, and I knew him because I had just seen Victims play. He's very distinct looking because he only has one leg, but he was like a fake leg anyway. But they embrace it. They call themselves Death on 9 legs and stuff like this. You know? So he embraces it. He's really cool about it anyway. So I knew his name was Terry because of the show I had seen pretty recently. Anyway, we chatted it up, and he mentioned that they were looking for a guitar player, and I didn't know much about the band. There was I'll show the screen here. There was a CD put out on Grindcore Records called Victims of Internal Decay, self-titled. This is a great fucking CD, dude.
Yeah, I remember.
1992.
I remember seeing that back in the day, even. Yeah.
Yeah. They had great distribution because of RED distribution, and this is the same label that Broken Hope are on. Anyway, this was on my radar because it was a great CD, and I was honored to hear that they were looking for guitar players. So I was immediately, when Terry mentioned that, I was like, dude, I'm interested. Let's do it,
Yeah.
The other guitarist, Hans, was going back to school or something. These guys were older than us. They were 5 years older or so.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were moving on with their lives, maybe, settling down as far as marriage and stuff like this. So
yeah.
I think one of the members, Hans, moved on. So I expressed my interest in joining the band. I went down to Albany and met the guys, and we hit it off, man. I learned all the songs on the CD, and we just started to jam. Like once a week, I would drive, with my BC Rich and my little Fender practice amp, and go down to Albany like every Tuesday or something. I forgot what it was, but it was an hour and 15 minutes or something. I'd drive down there, jam some CDs, and hang out with these guys, and we would like hardly ever get enough practice done because we would just be talking music and drinking beers.
Sure,
I don't know. It was just like a classic kind of like garage band situation. So it started pretty slowly. I think it was probably a good 5 or 6 months before, we started talking about shows and stuff. But, I was always interested in being in a band, and I didn't have a lot of contacts in Portland because I was relatively new. But these guys kind of opened it up. The drummer in particular, his name is Pat. Fucking amazing drummer, dude. I had never played with a drummer like this. I was 19 at the time, and a lot of the people I'd played with were in high school and other things, so they were beginners, but this guy was 5 years older than us, and dude, he was amazing. His double bass skills and his Lombardo-esque fills and stuff. It was a really honor to play with this guy. And Terry especially was an amazing guitarist and taught me a lot about riffs. And when I was learning the songs, he would actually write down the tablature, like I have him somewhere. I have it like pages of his riffs, written out for me to learn them at home or whatever. It's so cool that he did that. Thinking back, what a pain in the ass that must have been for him.
Totally, yeah.
Here are the riffs you need to learn. It's like, okay, thanks. Anyway, we eventually put together a set, started playing. This is when I met Don, actually, around this same time. Yeah, he reviewed this tape that I ended up being on in 1996. And I think I talked to Don on the phone or something, because I remember talking to him about Dan Swano and this little deeper metal, besides the common death metal stuff. And I did not know anybody that was into that stuff. Yeah. And so as soon as like Edge of Sanity came up and he knew what it was, because I knew he knew what it was because of the zine, but I was like, wow, I got to know this guy because I need somebody to talk to about this stuff. So yeah, so we developed a friendship, but that's jumping forward a little bit. But we put out a tape. It's called Resin 67 Sessions. We recorded this in Corvallis in 1996. Yeah, we released it on tape with hopes of getting another label to pick it up because they were relatively well known, Mm-hmm. Savior didn't get signed, Body Bag didn't get signed, but Victims did. Okay. So it was an interesting thing, I don't recall what advantage they had and why they got signed. I think a lot had to do with Drew Canulette, who produced this particular CD. Okay. He recorded with Nirvana, I believe. Now, don't quote me on that here. Okay. Let's Google this shit. Drew Canulette. Yeah, he was Dogfish Sound. Started a long time ago. So these guys recorded with like a grunge producer. And that added a little bit of a different twist to it, I think, when this came out. It wasn't typical like Morris Sound stuff, Sure, yeah. So anyway, they got signed, and we were hoping to get signed again. So we put out this kind of, I don't know how long it is. It's not very long. It's probably 20 minutes long. Okay. Tape in the hopes of getting signed again. And this coincided with these guys kind of slowing down in their lives, getting real jobs and and having kids. Lance, the vocalist, amazing guy. He had a young kid, and I think they all had a lot going on in their lives. They were older. They were probably 27 at this time. Okay. So jobs, kids, it kind of just disintegrated, unfortunately, after this. But we were still feeling like we had the energy to like put this out on a major label, or at least record another album on a major label, but didn't really get any interest from it, unfortunately. But I was really proud of how it turned out. We just recorded it with this young kid that had a 8-track studio, it was just like in this guy's garage. Yeah, it says recorded at the Resin 67 homeless shelter. Yeah, it's just a joke, but it was just this guy's garage, basically. Okay. And we would get high and drink Mickeys. I was drinking a lot of Mickeys. That was a thing in the mid 90s. I had Mickeys too, the wide mouth. Like that was, people are always like, oh, Mickey's wide mouth. Yeah. I was drinking a lot of Mickeys, and so were these guys too. And we were a lot of it was just partying, They were a lot of fun, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking up back to Drew Canulette here.
Uh-huh.
He worked on Soundgarden Ultra Mega OK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He worked with Sweaty Nipples, Poison Idea, Napalm Beach, kind of local bands. I think I misspoke about Nirvana, but
okay.
Anyway, he was a major kind of producer, and they recorded with him, and I think that's what developed really more of a following than Savior and Body Bag and some of the other local death metal bands. Anyway,
wow, that's
went
awesome.
The studio, recorded this stuff. These were all written by Terry mostly, and the unique thing about Victims was the dual vocals. Lance had a kind of a more of a thrashier shout vocal style. Terry would do the growls. These guys, when they were syncing up and they were going back and forth, it was fucking fire, as the kids would say now.
That's awesome.
I really appreciated dual vocals. I think Deicide did a little bit. Just Glenn Benton would do it by himself, but
Deicide,
I really appreciated
Carcass,
bands that did it. Yeah,
I loved that about Carcass, like all the different types of like low, growls and stuff.
And I think if Terry wrote really imaginative, cool riffs. These songs are pretty, they're not technical, but they're really imaginative, the way he writes.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason they kind of separated themselves. They're a little more progressive, just a little bit more, not cynic or anything, but, just maybe, like Broken Hope, I guess, is a little bit. Some of those riffs they're catchy, but also technical at the same time.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. And Terry's a really great songwriter. So most of these were his songs that we recorded. He would be able to say a lot more. I'd love to have him on the podcast someday. He could talk a lot about early 90s death metal in Portland. That would be pretty cool.
For sure. So is this the last Victims release then?
It is, yeah. So after this, they had a reunion show with the original guitarist, which was happening in probably 2001 or 2002. They did a show, just one or two shows, I think, in Albany or Corvallis area.
Okay.
And then Terry had another band. Shit. If I tell him to listen to this podcast, I'm going to be really mad at myself for not remembering what his band was called. But he started doing death metal again. He got Lance back with vocals. He got Pat back with drumming, and he got Ron Ferris back on bass. And I think Hans played guitar also, but they renamed it different. It wasn't Victims. It was a different band. Fucking great stuff. Yeah. So his riffs and songwriting are top notch. So that was really worth checking out. But that didn't last long either. So. Yeah.
On the Metal Archives, it says that he is in a band right now called Griefhammer.
That was a doom band, I believe, that he started. What other bands does it say?
Domesticide?
That was it. Domesticide.
Okay.
Yeah. So they put out a CD. That was fucking great. And it sounded like Victims to me. It was really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Domesticide and then Drosera. And
yeah, I don't know that.
Game Over and Sullen.
Yeah, I'm not sure of all those projects. But
okay.
As far as I know now, he's not really playing much. Terry was, Terry had come to the band late. They were a thrash metal band, a local thrash metal band in the late 80s. They were called the Violent Order of Idiotic Dudes. Void. So when they switched to death metal, they changed their name to Victims of Internal Decay.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Using the same acronym, yeah. So you can see on this same Bandcamp page their older releases too.
Well, I was looking at this Dead Fish White because the cover looks really interesting.
That's like it's like a mixture of death metal and thrash. They started to move into death metal at this point, but even earlier it was just pure like Anthrax style thrash metal.
This Dead Fish White looks so Voivod. Like even the logo and the V and the O and the I and the D, it's like very like Voivod style. The artwork looks like something that Away would make. It's really cool looking. Yeah,
totally. I don't know who drew that, but
from 91. Huh.
Yeah, so they had made a transition into death metal, but I forgot what I was going to say about that. But yeah, they were well known in like Albany, Salem area, I think. I don't know how much they played up in Portland when they were the thrash band, but when they started to do the death metal, Dead Fish White, and then the self-titled album, they started playing locally a lot more in Portland and Seattle and stuff like that.
Okay. So the full length Victims of Internal Decay was 93. Okay. Yeah, I remember like seeing ads for that or flyers or something. I was still in Montana and then Minneapolis, but I
You
still
could see it in Old Metal Maniacs and stuff. They were
Yeah.
advertising with Broken Hope. I think it was Swamped and Gore era, maybe a little later than that.
Yeah.
Second album.
It's-
Anyway,
Yeah, I think you've brought up Broken Hope 3 times in this episode so far.
I'm a fan of Broken Hope. I think Jeremy Wagner writes really unique riffs, and he has a songwriting, and Terry does too. He has a songwriting forward method of writing. He's thinking about how the song sounds. He's thinking about catchiness, these kind of things. Yeah. Terry does the same thing. That's why I keep bringing it up, because I feel like they're really similar, these two guys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
anyway, we recorded this thing. I was pretty proud of it. It was cool. And unfortunately, it just faded away. After this, I was jamming with Don and you, and that's when we met and playing with Sculpture. But I wasn't really doing metal anymore. I not like I didn't want to. I just what didn't happen in my life for whatever reasons, And then I moved in 2000. I moved to England and started a family and all these things. So playing metal was just something I did all the time by myself, but I just hadn't been in a band since then, really. So
sure, yeah. I'm looking at these tracks. There's 13 of them, and a lot of them.
A couple of them are
there's like a 10-second one. I'm seeing a couple like 1-minute ones, a 14-second one. So
these Green Jams are just the lyric is, I hate Green Day, I hate Pearl Jam, I hate all the fucking bands that they play on MTV.
Okay, nice.
It's just like this really short, like grind Napalm Death riff.
Oh, I see.
We did it 4 different times. And then we did the Slayer cover. Oh, at this time we played one of the shows I played with the Victims was we played All of Rain and Blood for Halloween.
Oh wow!
Must have been 96. Halloween 96. Yeah. I can't believe I played that well at the time. Now I listen to Rain and Blood. It's like, damn, these riffs are hard.
Yeah.
How did I play that?
Yeah.
I was really good at the time, much better than I am now as far as speed goes.
Yeah. So this, like, the intent of this, at least as far as you're concerned, is to like get on a better label. Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to get signed to some label. We didn't, and we sent out, I was tape trading with this thing and sending it out to all kinds of different places. Nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
But that was the idea. It was just going to be a demo just to get us signed so we could record a full length. Because the 8-track, as good as this kid was that recorded us, it didn't sound that great.
Sure, yeah. Just an 8-track, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to...
But I still have my copy here.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
For all the video viewers, it's my tape. And there's hardly any of these that exist anymore. Professionally printed. I remember how excited I was to have like my name in this thing and to just have it. In my hands,
It's a special feeling when you get like your first cassette or CD or something or vinyl, like with your name or photo or band or whatever on it.
Yeah, what was your first time that happened?
First pro printed cassette was the Susurrus Anonymous EP demo, whatever you want to call it, back in like 97. First CD I think was probably the first Nothing album.
Nice.
And then first vinyl would have been, had to have been an Agalloch record, had to have been Pale Folklore.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else it would have been.
Yeah, that's a pretty special feeling. I don't know. We play in our bedrooms and our garage and all these things, and then to get it out in the world, it feels really good.
Yeah, especially like physical media, especially back then. It's like now it's like, I can,
easier.
I can pay $1,000 to make a record, but back then it was like getting signed and
somebody had to do it.
That whole thing, and it was it meant more to have like a physical release of any kind, really.
It was cool because, because of this, I met you guys, and I met tons of people in the tape trading world, Internal Bleeding, and all these bands that we were trading with, Nile. Really cool, man. I mean, there's early days, or, relatively early days of death metal. And not really, I guess it was maybe near the end of death metal.
Well, it depends on how you look at it, yeah.
Yeah, it depends how you look at it, but... tape trading was still definitely a thing until probably 96, 97. I don't know when it stopped. Maybe even 2000. I don't know.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool to kind of reach out and get, those 1,000 little paper flyers that bands would have put out, of a little blurb about their album and being like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. I love that.
It was cool.
That's awesome. Should I play one of these songs?
Yeah, please do. I think "To Take Life" is a good track.
Okay.
There's so many. Actually, this is a really great album. The interspersed are a couple punk tracks.
Mm-hmm.
These guys were getting heavy into punk at the time, so they had that influence. But "To Take Life's got a really great riff in it that Terry wrote. I like that song a lot.
Cool. Let's try that. That's
kind of got a mosh riff to it.
A mosh riff. Caught in a mosh. Yeah, so this is To Take Life, Victims of Internal Decay from the Resin 67 sessions.
Nick Wusz on guitar.
Nick Wusz on guitar. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
You chopped your wife and daughter up into little bits. Now you blew your brains out.
Unfortunately,
Nice,
this
man.
is a tape transfer, so the sound's not that great. But
Yeah.
we never digitized this. Oh, this is close to digitized. I did this, with the tape. But
Oh, you did this one?
yeah, there's no I don't think anybody has the original master or anything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
The
that's
cool
cool.
thing about these guys was the mixture of punk. They were in touch with Poison Idea, with Nirvana even, and it kind of lent itself to being a little different than standard death metal, which I appreciated at the time.
Yeah, and so I'm assuming some of these things like the Green Jams are more punkish.
And Laugh at You is a complete punk song. I think, straight up punk. Laugh at You is.
Okay.
The rest are death metal, and then Criminally Insane, we do the Slayer cover.
The Slayer cover, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
What is Peas Wig?
Oh, that's just another inside joke these guys had. They had these friends that were part of the scene, and that was one of their nicknames. This guy Kyle, I think his nickname was Peasweek. We'd have to ask Terry about this, but
Peasweek.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
that's
wrote.
Weird.
They did, I think they came into the studio and did a little backing vocals on that track or something like that.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's cool.
They had a lot of inside jokes. These guys, they'd known each other since they're kids and stuff.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I came into this world being like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
Yeah,
it's cool. These guys were very different. I grew up in Southern California. These guys in Portland is different than Albany is. These guys were a little wilder than than I have experienced. Moving to Portland was mind opening enough, but then I met these guys from outside these smaller towns. It was fucking wild, dude. They were pretty crazy, and it was really fun.
Small town Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't have a lot to do. They were working and then playing in a band, and that was their life.
Wow.
until they had kids and stuff. And
Yeah,
moved on.
sure,
But,
sure.
yeah, pretty amazing.
You still talk to Terry?
I do. I saw Terry last year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, he's doing good. He's still playing in local bands. He's doing stand-up comedy like you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does stand-up comedy quite often.
Wow.
He does open mics and stuff, and he does hosting of comedy shows.
That's cool.
In the I think in Albany or Corvallis.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So he lives.
Yeah, so
he
he's
still
doing all
lives
right.
down there. Like.
I was talking to him about, if he can get the original 5 guys back and do this album, because this is a trend. Mortis Schooled came back. All these bands
Yeah.
are coming back.
Yeah.
If they could get their shit together and play this, I think there'd be a crowd for it. It's been reissued multiple times now, the CD and vinyl. It's been finally put on a vinyl. So you guys should definitely check out this self-titled album. It's incredible.
I'm noticing that there's a Green River cover on it. So they were like deeply into like the alternative Seattle.
Totally, yeah. These guys were
grunge
way into
scene.
Nirvana and stuff, and I wasn't at the time, but or still not really. But so I was just like, "What's going on?" I thought it was a Pacific Northwest thing. Like they just identified with it more than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't from here, so I didn't quite hit me. The grunge didn't hit me as it did for a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. And Green River too. I mean, that's like old school. That's like, yeah. Wow.
They know a lot about music. It was cool. It was like having an older brother kind of thing situation.
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of exposure to bands, and I was listening to, I liked KS and stuff, but they went a lot deeper, a lot of that stoner stuff too, which was kind of fun.
Well, and you said they were like 10 years older than you?
They were 27, I think, at the time, probably 6 or 7 years older than I was. Yeah.
I mean,
maybe
that's
8 years older.
That's,
even.
that's a pretty good difference when you're talking musical,
Oh yeah,
like-
when I
like
came
when you're
in like
exposed
as
to
a
things and
when
yeah.
I came in as a 19-year-old liking Pantera, these guys shit all over me. Like fucking Pantera sucks. And then later on, I saw Lance, the singer, at a Down concert.
Oh, and did you give him hell?
Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck
Oh,
are you
fuck,
doing?" He's like, "Dude, I want to apologize to you, man. I'm so sorry that I said that about Phil and Pantera back in the day. I really appreciate this stuff now." It's like, "Okay, I told you, man. I told you."
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
So he apologized formally to me about his being a dick about Pantera because he ended up liking Down so much.
There's a comment here that I find interesting on their Bandcamp for this album, the full length from '93.
Yeah, what does that say?
Some guy says, "Goated Death Grind kind of reminds me of Disastrous Murmur," and that's really interesting.
What's that?
Disastrous Murmur, like they're one of those bands that I never knew anyone that was like really into them, but you'd always see the name.
Oh wow, yeah, I never heard of it.
Yeah, I want to say like Eastern European, if I remember correctly. I that could be wrong, but the fact that it says "goated" makes me think that it's a rather recent comment.
Must be, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we should listen to one of these songs.
Please do. Let me tell you, Bathed in Sickness or Consummation. Yeah, one of those two.
Let's do "Bathed in Sickness." I wanna check that out.
Yeah, dude, this is great. Much better produced.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the self-titled Victims of Internal Decay
Before I was in
record,
the band,
Before
yeah.
Nick Wusz was in the band.
That's right.
From the glorious death metal year of 1993.
Yeah,
Have you ever
they
talked to Hunter about this band?
I don't think so.
I'm
does he know about it?
curious. Well, I'm curious if he knows about it
Yeah.
and if he knows that you were involved with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think Hunter listens to the podcast anymore, but if you do, if you hear this, Hunter, let me know if you're aware
Hi,
of this.
Hunter, if you are out there.
I think he was like a religious listener for a long time, and then I think he kind of fell off. But we still.
Well, any death metal fan from the 90s should definitely, any fan of 90s death metal should certainly check out this album. It's an underrated gem. It really is. Fucking amazing production, high quality songwriting, catchy as hell. It just hits on all cylinders. Vocal style, guitar tracks, everything is fucking great.
Do you want to say something about Broken Hope?
And also while you're out there, check out Loathing by Broken Hope. Great album, dude. So good.
I think that's going to become the new Kyle or Guar or something.
Yeah,
like
probably.
Drink about Broken Hope.
Anytime Nick mentions Broken
Yeah.
I love Broken Hope, man. What can I say?
Okay, so yeah, here it is. Bathed in Sickness, self-titled Victims of Internal Decay from 1993.
Like a blood
Wow.
Nice. Hear that grind, the grind mixture of death metal.
That is awesome.
Yeah. These guys are super talented, man. It was too bad. Fucking still, Pat is one of the best drummers I've ever seen. He was fucking incredible.
Yeah. I could hear that like Lombardo-esque, like the fills in there, like the big,
so many
big,
fills
big
and
toms.
shredding. Yeah. And they were pretty progressive. There was a lot of riff changes in that song.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure I've actually ever listened to that. I mean, I feel like I must have just because of my friendship with you. But if I have, it's been a very, very long time.
Back to Drew Canulette, who produced and engineered this album. He had a studio in Newburgh, Oregon called Dogfish Studios. But he recorded Cryptic Slaughter, Speak Your Peace. He recorded Ultra Mega OK, Soundgarden.
Wow.
He recorded this album. And he worked with Nirvana on a live album. And he had some kind of portable studio that he brought to Roseland, which was Pine Street Theater at the time.
Yeah, okay.
And they recorded a couple live tracks. So, yeah.
Crazy. Wow.
He's a legendary guy, and it's interesting, that they were able to afford this, and I don't know how it all went down. We would ask Terry that if he was here, but yeah, I'm not sure.
And it was on, what label was it on?
It was on Grindcore.
Grindcore International, yeah. I remember
exactly. That. Grindcore International.
Yep.
Distributed by Red Light.
Yeah.
I think there were a bunch of death metal bands on that label. On
Grindcore. Yeah. That was like, I remember around that time seeing like a lot of names on Grindcore. They weren't like a Set Your Media or Nuclear Blast or anything. They were pretty low profile, but I remember them being pretty prolific there for a bit.
I just looked it up here. Here's some of the stuff they put out: Vital Remains, Victims, Paralysis, Morbid Saint, Crowbar. They did first Crowbar, I think. Cyanide, Broken Hope. I think they put out early at the gates too. Maybe The Red Sky Is Ours or something. Yeah, that might have been on. Anyway, yeah. I think it died that label died really soon after this got put out.
Okay, yeah.
So 93, 94.
Yeah, I feel like that was a pretty short-lived operation.
It was, yeah.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to visit this for the first time.
Please do. They do an excellent Sabbath cover on there.
Yeah,
Under the Sun.
Under the Sun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. They really make it heavy and doomy. It's incredible.
I do like the dual vocal thing. That's really cool.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lance would, when we would play with him, Lance would he would take fire hot sauce from Taco Bell, like 6 of them, and fucking squeeze them down his throat before he started singing.
Oh my God.
That was his method of getting his growl ready.
Damn. That's weird.
I don't know if there's any science behind that, but.
Maybe. I mean, it seems like it would just make you cough and irritate your throat. But
yeah, he was insane.
John would always.
These guys were wild, dude. These guys are fucking wild.
Well, yeah, small town Oregon. I mean, I think I can relate. It's like small town Montana. It's
sure.
You get weird shit going on when you don't have a lot of stuff to do, and
exactly.
A lot of outside influences.
Yeah, a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking weed. I never did any hard drugs or anything, but definitely smoked a lot of weed with these guys. So that was a lot of fun.
So how long were you in the band?
It only lasted about a year, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, we played 4 or 5 shows. We played with Don's band, right? Landfill?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
you
I played with him at a show. Yeah, a couple of locals. Nothing else in Portland. That was in Portland.
Okay.
We played a show in Salem, a show in Albany. There was a theater there that they were friends with this guy, Jeff Simpson, and he owned or booked this theater. We played with Floater there, which is kind of weird.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Floater were heavy at that time.
Yeah.
But not death metal heavy, but
no,
heavier.
but they definitely get into that sometimes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. Cool time, and I'm glad to have met those guys all through Tower Records, and just being open about finding people that are in love with metal like I was.
For sure, yeah.
It's all it took to be my friend at that time.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're into metal?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Now you're my friend. That's great, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's how I met you, basically.
I mean, yeah, basically.
Because I met Don through this, and then I met you through that. So if it weren't for this, I wouldn't have met Don.
And you would have met me then.
And I wouldn't have met you.
Nope. And we would have been living in the same place and
not knowing each other. Yeah, there's probably a lot of people that are like that,
I always wonder though, it's kind of like faulty logic to say that we wouldn't know each other. We could have met through a different avenue. We're both metal fans living in Portland. But what would that reality be like?
I see people at shows that I saw in the 90s, and I don't really talk to them. I still see the same guys.
Yeah.
Man, this guy's been coming to shows for a long time. I should approach him because we've both been at the same shows so many times.
For sure.
It happened at Testament. It was like, I've seen this guy since the Satyricon days in the 90s, but I don't really talk to him,
Yeah. But I always think
like
what would that alternative path be like if we didn't know each other through Dawn and we met? Would we meet at a show?
Yeah, how?
I don't know. We'll have to call up Mike Browning, fire up the time machine.
Fire it up.
Go back, make sure that you never met Dawn, and we'll see.
You got to listen to that Cryptic Shift. He plays 2 tracks.
Oh, I have.
He plays the theremin.
Yeah.
He plays the theremin on it.
Yeah, I listened to... I didn't get all the way through it yet, but I was I was at the gym listening to it, and I listened to the first song, and then the second song is going on and on. I'm like, what the fuck? The second song's 20 minutes or something.
Yeah. They're long songs.
Yeah.
So many riff changes and stuff.
I really liked what I heard, though. Yeah.
Pretty cool, right? It's like Atheist to me, Cynic or something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, really cool stuff.
Oh, thanks for talking to me about this. That
was great. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I think that if people are interested in hearing this, Bandcamp is the way to go.
For sure, yeah. You can get the vinyl. If you want to get the self-titled, it's available. I forget what label. It's available on vinyl.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing the story, the background, the tunes with Victims.
Thanks for asking. That was fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we will see you guys later.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Ciao.
An Earth in Sound production.